Well, let's talk about one of your former teams, the Giants. Skip, is Eli an elite quarterback?
Hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm just going to be very objective about this. He is not elite. And I don't get anyone who's going to make the case that he is elite, because Eli Manning has led this league in interceptions not once or twice, but 3 times. And Eli's teams, and I know he can't play defense or run the ball or block, but his teams have missed the playoffs the last 4 years. And since they last won the Super Bowl,
Who did they beat in that Super Bowl?
I don't know. I'm going to get to that in just a minute and how they beat them. But do you realize the Detroit Lions have a better record than Eli's team since Eli's team won its last Super Bowl? In Eli's 10 non-Super Bowl seasons, two obviously Super Bowl seasons, but in his 10 non-Super Bowl seasons, his playoff record is 0-3, and his overall record as a starter is 78-76 non-Super Bowl seasons. And since that stat that I like, which is QBR, was invented 10 years ago, Eli has averaged 14th in the league year after year. That's a 10-year QBR average, 14th in the league. That's pretty average. And then back to the 2 Super Bowls. Let's go to the first one. Eli Manning made the luckiest play in Super Bowl history to pull out a game that Tom Brady had done what he always does and thrown to Randy Moss and pulled it out with about 2 minutes and 42 seconds left to put New England ahead 14-10. And then here came Eli. Could we see that play again, please? Eli is trapped on 3rd and 5 from the 44. And he's going to be sacked. He's not the most mobile guy. And he gets loose.
Get out of there, Eli.
Wait. How did you do that? And how many holds were there? And then he closes his eyes and throws it as far as he can throw it. Wait a minute. David Tyree, it sticks in his face mask in front of Rodney Harrison. How did you do this, Eli? You didn't know how you did it because you didn't really even look where you were going to throw the football. It was the pass and a prayer. And that play saved the game, because the game's going to be over if you don't convert on that 3rd down. And that's how they won that Super Bowl. I've seen it enough. Stop it.
What about the second Super Bowl?
The second Super Bowl. The New England Patriots are driving to clinch, not just win the game, but to clinch the game. And here's another play. Tom Brady threw it a little bit wild and high, but Wes Welker has 2 hands on the football, and if he comes down with it, he might still be running, and the game would be way over. There it is again, and I've seen that enough. Thank you very much. But that's the kind of plays that put Eli on the elite map, and people off those 2 Super Bowls continue to say, this man is elite, and I just gave you all the reasons why, except for 2 fairly lucky Super Bowl wins. One of them one fairly lucky. Eli has been very average to me. So I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you what, when he first went in, and people were beating him up his first few years that he couldn't get things done, I came to his defense. Give him a chance. He's a young quarterback.
Right.
All right? Not a great team. But as time went on, and see people were talking about elite quarterback, I didn't believe that, because when he's successful, they've had a great run game and a great defense. Okay, get you the ball back. You know, they didn't have to outscore people. The defense did their job, and a fierce running attack. I think of Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Doesn't matter what the defense is doing and the offense. As long as those guys are playing, you got a chance. I don't feel the same there.
I mean, he's 4 Pro Bowls, 2-time Super Bowl win, 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 times MVP, 4 or 5,000 yard seasons. He's been in the top 10 in touchdown passes, yardage. I go back and forth with this, and I kind of agree with Coach, is that when I think of elite, I'm thinking of Big Ben, I'm thinking of Cam, I'm thinking of Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I'm thinking of, no matter what the circumstances, no matter where we play, no matter who's in the ball game, can I count on this guy to say, you know what? Even though we're down our best receiver, even though we're down our best running back, this guy still gives us a chance to win. And like you said, it's just been we keep bringing up the question, is Eli elite because he has 2 Super Bowls? We want to disregard the other 10 years and just focus on those 2 years. Well, if we just do that, he has a 7-1 playoff record away from home. That's phenomenal. I mean, think about that. He had to go on the road and beat Green Bay,
did.
Brett Favre at the time. He's gone on the road and beat the Patriots, who you say have the greatest quarterback and the greatest head coach in NFL history. He's beaten those guys twice. But if you look at his body of work, I don't know if anything says he jumps out at you and says elite. Now, I'm not going to hold the leading the league in interceptions because Brett Favre led the league in interceptions a bunch. As a matter of fact, he has more interceptions than any quarterback that's ever played the game.
Yeah, but he
now,
played
he's thrown
41.
Right, he's thrown the ball more than anybody, so you throw the ball a bunch. I go back and forth. I'm going to say he's slightly below the Rodgers, the Roethlisbergers, the Drew Breeses, the Cams, but you can win with him. You can build a team around him. But as of right now, today, if you ask me, say, okay, if you say he's elite, we're going to move you out of your house. If you don't, we're going to move you out of your house. So I'm going to say he's not elite.
Okay.
Either way, I don't think he is right now.
But you did pick the New York Football Giants to win this division.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe by default. or-
Because I think he is the best quarterback in that division, but I don't think there are any elite quarterbacks in that division.
You and I argued earlier this week because New Orleans opened as a 5-point underdog at the Giants
Yes.
this Sunday. Drew Brees, you just mentioned. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be closer than you think. You think it's going to be a torch, right?
No, I think it's going to be a shootout because, no, I do. I don't think it's going to be like it was last year in New Orleans where it was like a 40-something, 41-38 or something like that. I think it'll be a 7-point ball game. I think the
It's
Giants will win by
52 to
7.
49.
Yeah, I think it'll be a 7-point ball game, though.
7-point ball game. Listen, little Willie Snead and Brandon Cooks,
Yeah.
they're going to have their way, and they're going to run up big catch yards against that defense. And I know it played pretty well against a 4th-round rookie in Dak Prescott, but I can't make a case that New Orleans will win because New Orleans' defense is pretty bad. These are the 2 worst defenses last year, but at least New York addressed their problems.
They're as bad defensively as their offense is good.
Good.
Yeah.
And it might be the most explosive
Yeah.
offense. So I got a close shootout here. I got it going down like a 45-41.
So no elite, no elite, no elite.
Thank you. Case closed. We don't want to
But
ever
he
hear
started, but you know, it was him that started that discussion. You know, they asked him, was he elite? And then the defensive lineman says you can't spell elite without putting Eli in there.
Correct.
But he's won 2 Super Bowls, but we want to discredit the other 10 seasons when he's led the league in interceptions and he hadn't played particularly well. But can you win with him? Absolutely. But I don't know if he doesn't have all the pieces in place, you can win without him.